This lesson is a square root, attributes, and inverse. I'm going to go ahead and talk about and discuss problem 1. It says graph f of x equals square root of x minus 1. So let's make a table. Now, can I use -1 or anything below that? That's a question that I'm asking you. So can I get the square root of -1? So I'm going to go to 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use perfect numbers since it's a square root. So it's 4, 9, 16, 25. So I have the square root of 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. Square root of 4 is 2 minus 1 is 1. Square root of 9 is 3 minus 1 is 2. Square root of 16 minus 1 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. 25, the square root of 25 minus 1. So the square root of 25 is 5 minus 1 is 4. Now if I do 36 as an input, I have square root of 36 minus 1, which is going to give me 5. So you notice that I'm getting the square root of x here, which is 4, 9, 16, 25, and 36. Going back to the question, can you find the square root of a negative number? And the answer is no, it's going to be imaginary. So you know that anything that is less than 1, x less than 1 is not part of the domain. Anything that is less than 1, because if it's 0, well, actually 0, square root of 0 minus 1, square root of 0 is 0, so it's going to be -1. So it's anything that is less than 0, anything less than 0, x is less than 0, is not part of the domain. So I'm going to go ahead and graph. So I have 0, -1. I have 1, 0, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to have 1. So you see that that's 4, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. So my graph looks like this. So you notice that the domain for this graph is going to be x is greater than 0. The range is the lowest y value is -1, so it's going to be y is greater than or equal to -1. Therefore, values that are less than 0 that are negative in the radical, you're not able to find the y value. So we say that this is called a restricted domain. Why is it restricted? Because the only values that you can use in this function, which is called a square root function, are positive values. So the only values that you can use in this radical are positive values. Once again, I'm going to graph this. So I have x and y intercepts. So I'm going to make a table. And I'm going to start with 0. So the square root of 0 is 0 minus 3 gives you negative 3. So we have 1, square root of 1 minus 3, so it's going to be negative 2. So we have 2. No, I take that back. We're going to use 4. We're going to use perfect numbers since we can find the square root. So the square root of 4 is minus 3. Square root of 4 is 2. Minus 3 is negative 1. Let's use 9. So the square root of 9 minus 3 is 0. So now we're going to use 16. The square root of 16 is 4. Minus 3 gives you 1. And then we have 25. So the square root of 25 is 5 minus 3 gives you 2. I'm going to go ahead and graph this. And I'm sketching it, so I have a y-axis. You have the x-axis, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3. That's negative 3. This right here is called the y-intercept. 1, negative 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 0. So we have 9, comma 0. This is the x-intercept, and this is the y-intercept. Consider the function y equals x squared plus 5. Write the inverse. So I'm going to go ahead and write the inverse. So we have y equals x squared plus 5. Now to write the inverse, I'm going to switch the x. So we have x equals y squared plus 5. And now I'm going to solve for y. So you have y squared equals x minus 5. And of course, the last step is you're going to get the square root of both sides. So the inverse is equal to the square root of x minus 5. What you have to realize is that y is equal to the plus or minus, whatever comes out of this square root, x minus 5, okay? So the inverse of y equals x squared plus 5 is going to be y equals plus or minus square root of x minus 5. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to graph the inverse. So I notice that I'm going to use 5 because 5 minus 5 is 0. We have x minus 5 equals 0, and the square root of 0 is 0. The next one we're going to use is 9, because if we replace the x with 9, we have 9 minus 4, and 9 minus 5 is 4, so we have plus or minus square root of 4, which gives you plus or minus 2. The next one is 14. So we have the square root of 14 minus 5, which is equal to the plus or minus square root of 9, equals plus or minus 3. The next number would have to be 21, because the square root of 21 minus 5 is equal to plus or minus square root of 16, which is plus or minus 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and graph this here somewhere. And when we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have 5, 0. So anything below 5, we're going to have a negative in the radical, and we're not going to be able to find the square root of a negative number. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's plus or minus 2. Okay, so it's going to be up to or below 2. And that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's going to be 3 and negative 3. And you notice that you have a parabola that is sideways. And so the domain is x greater than or equal to 5, and the range is going to be all reals. Now, if we compare that to the function itself, we have x squared plus 5, so we know that the y-intercept is going to be 0, 5, and it's going to go up like this. So you notice that your domain is going to be all real numbers, and your range is y is greater than or equal to 0. No, y is greater than or equal to 5. Now, I do want you to notice the relationship between the between the range and its inverse. And you notice that the domain and the range are, yep, they're flipped. So to find the inverse domain, all you would have to look is at the function range. And then vice versa. If you want to know the inverse range, you'd have to look at the domains for the function itself. Consider the function f of x equals 4x squared minus 1 with a domain greater than 0 and its inverse. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a table for my function. Now it says that the domain has to be greater than 0. So if I use 1, 4 times 1 squared minus 1 gives me 3. If I use 2, 2 squared is 4. So it's 4 times 2 squared minus 1. So 2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 minus 1 is 15. I have 3, so I have 4 times 3 squared minus 1. So 3 squared is 9. 9 times 4 is 36, so it's 35. So here is my graph. So it's 1, 3. Then it's 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It goes pretty fast. So it's going to look something like this, right? And of course, I can't graph the last one, 335. So if you notice, the domain is x is greater than 0, and the range is y is greater than or equal to 3. So based on our last example, what do you expect for the domain and range of the square root to be? So this is the inverse right here. They give us the inverse. So you expect for it to be switched. So for the inverse, you expect the domain to be x is greater than or equal to 3, and you expect the range to be y is greater than or equal to 0. So what we need to do is we need to graph this function to see if that happens. So if we use 3, and I'm going to make a table, and there's the inverse. If I use 3, it's going to be the square root of 3 plus 1, and then divided by 2. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we have 3, 1. 3, 1. So the next one that we probably want to use is 15. So that would be the square root of 15 plus 1, and then divided by 2. And guess what that's going to be? Yep, it's going to be 2. So we have 15 And it's probably going to be way out here. So it's going to look like this. And you notice that, and I know this is just a sketch, but if you notice, it has to be reflected over y equals x. And this doesn't show it, but it is reflected over y equals x.